We are chilling then. Give me 1 second, everybody. Okay. Hopefully it's not too crazy. Okay. Because I kind of want the headphones in, but it is what it is at this point. Hopefully you guys are still tuning in with me. Just give me 1 second to kind of get the stuff situated. I do apologize to everybody here. So why don't we just get started, guys? I do apologize for not starting at 7 o'clock. I was watching the NBA game with the Clippers and the Jazz, and, it was kind of what I expected. I think a lot of people take into account kind of the demonstrative beatdowns that these teams have been going through, like the Milwaukee Bucks, the Clippers. Like, in my heart of heart, I always knew those teams were going to come back in the series. I still think the Jazz will win, and I still think that the Nets will win. But it does make it more interesting to actually have games continue going on. So I'm happy to see that at least the Clippers are putting up a fight, and the same thing with the Milwaukee Bucks in that Nets series. As you can tell by the title of the stream, we are, of course, not going to be talking about anything too crazy, besides talking about more so. If you guys will excuse me, I'm just going to kind of lower the volume there. We're going to be talking about the Phoenix Suns and how I think that they could potentially be NBA champions, just with the way that their team is constructed. Chris Paul with his revitalization from the Houston debacle that happened with him and James Harden. We're also going to do a top shot on pack opening. So we're going to probably do the pack opening at the end of this stream. So if you guys are watching it, kind of at the beginning, you'll kind of see it at the end. Also, kind of wanted to let you guys know as well that there is a store that we have here at the Fusion Corp store really quick. If I can just open it up and show you guys. We have a store if you guys are interested in merchandise. We do have actual merch. We have a mug. We have a t-shirt. And again, you can get it in many different colors. White, more of a sports gray, navy if you guys are interested in that. I don't think the navy and the darker colors look good, but you can choose any color you want, size, you can pick any of them. But again, there's that as well. We also have the donate button as well. So if you guys are interested in donating to the channel, that would be awesome. And again, I'm not obligating you guys to join the channel or, kind of do something crazy. But anything would be appreciative if you guys are willing to donate to the channel. But nevertheless, that is it right there. That is it. If you guys want to donate, if you want to get some merch, it's all there for you guys. I've been getting so many requests for it, so I just decided to open up a store, have merchandise, and also have a donation link as well if you guys are inclined to donate. But we are going to start off with, of course, talking about the Phoenix Suns. And we know the Phoenix Suns are a very interesting organization. If we look back at their history, right, and I can kind of zoom in for you guys that are kind of watching it with me here on the stream. If you kind of look at the years that have gone by for the Phoenix Suns, 2020 was their best year ever. 51-21. I think if they would have played a regular season like they normally would, I think you could definitely see a season similar to what the Utah Jazz had this season. But you can see from the years past, from the 2013 season when they went 48-34, and kind of saying here, Sean Palermo hot take, Suns are a 7 or 8 seed without CP3. Okay, Sean. How you doing, man? I just saw you earlier today, so I just hope you're doing well. It's kind of crazy. I mean, we're going to actually talk about that really quick, Sean. I know you don't like Devin Booker, but I will say that a lot of the credit does deserve, one, to go to Chris Paul, and then second, to me, it's got to be Monty Williams. I think the way that Monty Williams has revitalized this roster is actually really important to the development of both Booker and Ayton, because Booker and Ayton have definitely been the main contributors to how the Phoenix Suns are playing right now. But nevertheless, the reason why I want to go back and look at history is because those Phoenix Suns years when they went 61 wins, 62 wins, all the way to where they're at right now. You could see so many wins and so many opportunities for this Phoenix Suns team. And then you looked at the latter years, right? The 2013, I think, is when it really started. After that, you went 39-43, 23-59, when they started getting Booker, and many of these other players, Ayton as well, 21, I believe this is the year they got Ayton, either here or this year. I believe it was the 17-18. Zach and Nick say hi. We were all tuning in today. Perfect. So I hope you guys are doing well. We're going to be doing a live topshot unboxing, Sean. I know it's not your favorite company, but we will be doing that a little bit later in the stream. Again, I want to really focus on Chris Paul, because Chris Paul, for the player that he is, it's kind of crazy to me. I want to take you back to when I was probably, a middle schooler, high schooler even. Chris Paul was always in the conversation for the top point guard in the NBA. It was between him, and at one point, it was between him and Deron Williams. If you guys remember Deron Williams from the Utah Jazz, he was a tremendous player. He balled out every day, and a lot of people were asking, is Deron Williams better than Chris Paul? And that was the big question going into it. And then as soon as Deron Williams or Darren Williams moved over to Brooklyn, the conversation changed, and Darren Williams just did not live up to the hype and expectations of being a Brooklyn Nets top paid player, and leaving the Utah Jazz kind of to be where they're at right now. But the reason why I bring that up is because you can see the consistency of Chris Paul throughout his whole career. And you can kind of see on the right-hand side, averaging at least 16 points per game his whole career. I mean, there may have been one season where he didn't average above 16, and that would have been his 2011 season. But at the same time, you see the impact that Chris Paul has on his team. I think for me, the biggest impact out of all of them is the assists. You look at all the assist numbers from him, 11.6 versus career high, 11.0, 10.7, and even this year at 8.9 is impressive, right? As a guy that's a 35, turning 36 into this league, you can see that it's a tremendous improvement and growth from where he was at. Just a couple of years back, I thought, last year in Oklahoma City definitely played a lot better than I think a lot of people expected. I think a lot of people expected that team to be really bad. But he ended up doing really well for that team, and you could see in the Houston years that he was doing tremendously well in those years as well. But I think you got to give it up to Chris Paul, man. I mean, when you look at the year before that Monty Williams had basically a similar roster to where he was at, the fact that Chris Paul just came in there, and you can see the win shares on the right-hand side. If I can just kind of move it over for you guys, 9.2 for Chris Paul. That has to say something about the Phoenix Suns. I think the Phoenix Suns are a team to mess with. I know Alex, one of my players that, tunes into the live stream, he's really high on the Phoenix Suns, and I can see why, man. Like, I'm also high on them as well. I just think they have such a complete team. The one player that I was not expecting to do well for them was Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder, each and every year that he's in the playoffs, whether he was with LeBron James or whether he was with LeBron James or even the Miami Heat last year, you could see that in the crunch time, in the playoffs when they needed it most, he just never showed up. But Jay Crowder this year, man, I cannot say that about him. He has really proved the haters wrong. He's really shut the people up that said he can't do it in the clutch or kind of do it in the postseason. He's been doing it, man. Like you know that Jay Crowder has been working on that. I think that's kind of his biggest downfall. And, it's all about just the mentality of changing your mentalness, a mentality of, okay, I know I'm a great player. I know I'm a great shooter. Let me go out and ball out. And I'll kind of show you guys this Phoenix Suns roster. I mean, when you look at the roster itself, has tremendous players that will help Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. Ayton, I thought, really definitely improved himself. I think that when I look at a guy like DeAndre Ayton, the one thing I can say about him is that he definitely had the pressure of the Luka Doncic, Trae Young draft. That was a year where, he went number one. A lot of people could say that maybe he was not worth the number one pick. But I think for where he's at right now and kind of the team that's constructed around the Phoenix Suns, I think you could say he was worth the number one pick. Now, is he the guy that everyone thought he was going to be? Maybe to some, no. A lot of people expected him to kind of be this, like, Anthony Davis type of build. But you can see his impact on the court when Chris Paul's there. I mean, I told you guys at the beginning of the season when we were doing our predictions and everything like that, the reason why I thought Chris Paul was brought into Phoenix was because they wanted to see Ayton's growth and development. And when you have a great point guard that gets Ayton the ball or gets him in great opportunities to get put-back dunks, put-back rebounds, now you're seeing why they spent the number one pick on Ayton. Ayton is a tremendous player. He'll be a tremendous player from here on out. Again, a guy that a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people thought Luka Doncic should have been the number one pick, but he kind of proved to everybody and proved to the people out there, the haters even, that he's in for the long haul, man. Like he's really into this. He's not doing this just to be kind of different or anything like that. But you really see the impact of a guy like DeAndre Ayton. And I'm so happy to see that that's kind of his impact for kind of what's going on, right? I do appreciate that from a guy in Ayton. And then not even Ayton himself. I mean, there's other players as well that we can kind of talk about. I just want to make sure we're live really quick. So let me make sure to mute myself there. Okay. Cool. We're good there. But another player that we can also kind of bring into this is Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne, a guy that a lot of people are like, who is this guy? You can see that his impact on the court is not so much in his points per game or his assists or rebounds, but you can see that this is a Cameron Payne that has tremendously developed from when he was at the beginning as an Oklahoma City Thunder player to where he's at right now, where, a guy that bounces around the league has found a niche for himself in Phoenix where he's a three-point shooter and a guy that can go off the dribble. And that is what you need, especially when it comes to Chris Paul, who was dealing with that injury at the beginning. A lot of people were worried about Chris Paul and his injury. Seems like he's recovered fine, but you can see why Cameron Payne is an essential player to this team. I mean, shooting 48% from the field, especially from where he was a couple years back where he was shooting less than 40%. And the three-point percentage for me is the huge one, right? Because you need your guy to be a very effective three-point shooter, and shooting 44% on 2.8, almost 3 three-pointer attempts a game. Those are some clutch threes, especially when Chris Paul is driving and kicking, or even when you see a guy like Devin Booker come off a double screen, and to see what he can do off of that, whether he shoots it, whether he drives, sees he can try to get Ayton alley-oop, but my big thing is getting Cameron Payne and also Cam Johnson also on this roster as well. That does a tremendous job of getting open and really improved himself this year. I mean, you can see that the three-point percentage is definitely not the best this year, but you can see that he's also an impact player on this roster. Torrey Craig, another guy that I really thought the Milwaukee Bucks probably should have kept. But it is what it is at this point. Tremendous player. Absolutely played a tremendous season so far. 36% from three-point range and 50% from the field. I think the Bucks are missing that in Torrey Craig, and they really could use a guy like Torrey Craig right now in their playoff series. So we'll see what happens with the Milwaukee Bucks. But I can say this about Torrey Craig. He is definitely an impact player, and you can see it here in his numbers. And again, just a tremendous guy as well. Like I said, I kind of want to shout out Torrey Craig, especially in the playoffs. Let's look at the playoffs. I think that, to me, is the biggest one. You can kind of look at his numbers from the previous years, especially, when playing at Utah, playing in Miami, playing in Boston. You can see that, the numbers weren't necessarily there for the three-point shot. Maybe his first year as a rookie in Dallas. But then you look at his numbers as he continues to grow and develop and become that player that they were looking for. I mean, you can see that he's improved each and every year. Miami was a little bit of a different story, especially in the finals. But you can see in the regular season, but in the playoffs so far, shooting 36% from the floor, from the 3-point land. That's going to be a tremendous thing. Shooting 42%. Again, the Phoenix Suns to me have a very great roster built around their star players. Right? You have a star scoring shooting guard or small forward in a guy like Devin Booker who's able to kind of create his own shot. You have, Chris Paul, an elite point guard that can read the floor, can get 17 assists on a daily night if he wanted to, and really can get guys open with the way that he plays. And so you can kind of see what he's able to do out there. So again, really, really, really appreciate the way that Chris Paul, is coming into this kind of, he could have been upset with the way that things were. He could have been like, well, I kind of wanted to go to the Lakers and play with LeBron. But he decided to take on the challenge. He did that in Oklahoma City. Now he's doing it here in Phoenix. Now he has a legit chance at winning the NBA championship. And they have a really great big in DeAndre Ayton, who has yet to have a small game in the playoffs so far. I think he might have had one in the Lakers series. But as far as in terms of the whole playoffs itself, Ayton has been a tremendous impact player. And has really kind of held Jokic as well to kind of the points that he has right now. I think obviously not having Jamal Murray sucks for the Nuggets, and you can see why not having another scoring threat besides MJP and Jokic could be bad. But again, at the end of the day, you're seeing a tremendous impact from these players, and I really appreciate the way that this team is constructed. You got 3-point shooters around him. You also got a guy in Mikal Bridges, again, scoring 13 points a game, shooting 54% from the floor, a career high, 42% from three. You can see that this guy also makes a huge impact on the court, and it's crazy to me that Philadelphia would trade him. They had him in the bag. They could really use him in this next series against the Hawks. I know the Hawks right now are down. Actually, scoring-wise, they're kind of down a little bit. But in terms of like points, point totals, from I think they only won one quarter, if I'm not mistaken, like the first half, something like that. But I really think the Philadelphia 76ers could have used him, but the Phoenix Suns saying, you know what, they're going to take him, they're going to make him a great role player, and you can see that he's made a tremendous impact on this team, and you can see why a lot of teams were very interested in this kid. I know a lot of people said, well, he was a sophomore when he came out, 22 years old. Is that really the guy we want? But you can see, man, he is a grown man now, and he can make tremendous impacts on the floor. So kudos to Mikal Bridges for making that impact. You can see what he's able to do out there at the court. So, kudos to him. And, man, it is fun to watch the Phoenix Suns. And I'm going to put on a Phoenix Suns highlight tape to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. We'll kind of watch MLG highlights. I think this is the first full game, so you guys can kind of see. Again, they didn't really do a good job of showing it here at the beginning of the highlights. But you can kind of see here a little down screen from Aiden coming off the pick and roll. Kind of almost, you can see that there's very similar like Steve Nash isms in their play call. And I can keep kind of scrolling until we get to that point. Again, elite defending. I know that Rivers made that, but you can see that they do a really good job of tremendous switching. Again, the problem here is that you get Jokic to kind of bait up there and see what he can do, and which then leaves like Michael Porter Jr. guarding Ayton. But any good player, I mean, you kind of see here that Aaron Gordon, I don't know what he's doing in this play. I know that he's guarding. You can kind of see here that he was originally guarding. What's up, guys? Fell one leg short on a 6-leg parlay for plus 480. Like I missed the Jazz on the money line. Oh, that sucks, man. Justin, that sucks. Hopefully you made it out all right with some money. Again, I don't partake just because it's not legal in my state. I wish it was because I would do it. Kind of throw $5 here and there. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And the problem here that I have is that what the Nuggets have done this whole series is double Booker to make him give up the rock, kind of make him give up the ball. The issue I have here, though, is that now you're kind of putting everybody into a bind. I mean, now you have 3 players attacking with Booker. Like 3 players are now engaged with Booker, which means that Ayton obviously has a free dunk here. But then again, then you leave the guys open on the 3, and it's just, I understand that you got a double, but I just don't like the way that they kind of tripled that. Again, we can kind of scroll over here. Little post-up matchup. I mean, Booker's been playing awesome, man. I know, Sean, I know you're not a fan of him. I know you think that he's not that dude, but he's been playing tremendous, man. You can't take that away from him. He's been playing absolutely tremendous basketball at this moment. So, can't hate on him too far. Again, great shooter. And that was kind of the biggest criticism of Booker, was kind of the decision-making, kind of having the ball in his hands. But you can see when Chris Paul is the one initiating the offense, when he's the one that kind of gets the whole situation going, you can see the real growth and development of Booker being an off-ball guard. I think Booker strives or kind of plays tremendously well as someone that is a off-ball guard. Like not someone that, not someone that's trying to think of the right word, has to have the ball in his hand all the time, kind of to initiate the offense that way. But you can see, like, when Booker has an elite playmaker next to him, that means that they are going to be a handful, right? They're going to be people that are going to be able to. It's going to be a hard game plan. And that to me is going to be concerning for Chris Paul's sake, because now Chris Paul is going to, one, he's going to be a free agent, so he can kind of demand one more big contract before he retires. And two, do the Phoenix Suns have enough cap room and cap space to kind of hold him together as well to be that point guard for the next couple of years while they try to find one to kind of pair up with Booker as well. They're going to have to do something there in order to keep him. Again, Chris Paul gets to his spots. He knows what his spots are. He's a dying breed in terms of kind of a mid-range player. Obviously, you see, Michael Porter Jr. hitting that mid-range jumper, but for the most part, that's not his game. Where I feel like Chris Paul, he's the one that'll snake around in there, see what he can find, kind of put the person behind their back to just be like, okay, I got this guy on my back. Now it's a 2-on-1 situation where we have me and the guy I'm, kind of rolling with. I can just pass to him really quick. You can kind of see that when he does that snake dribble. Again, it just comes down to more playmakers, and you can see that the Nuggets just do not have enough playmakers on the floor. They're relying on Campazzo, they're relying on Rivers, they're relying on Aaron Gordon, who's actually been really bad this playoff series. I wish that he could play just a little bit better in that situation, but he's been kind of terrible so far this playoff series against the Suns. Getting good Euro step from the big fella there, Jokic. Still my MVP, but it is disappointing to see if he can't, at least hopefully get a game in. Again, you can see Booker, again, in transition. Cameron Payne getting in the ball. Snakes around in there. And, it's just kind of, I've been really enjoying the Suns play, and I'm not a Western Conference guy. Yeah, man, the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz are a fun team to watch, man. They kind of remind me of just two really well-coached teams that, kind of X's and O's wise are tremendously, locked in. They're kind of similar to each other where they really get their role players to hit the three-pointers that they need. I think that the Phoenix Suns do a tremendous job of, getting the ball in the right spots. You can kind of see with the way that the offense is ran. So we'll see what happens there. Again, tremendous job there. And again, Cameron Payne, good. Cam Johnson. Jay Crowder hits the three. I mean, again, I in a million years would never expect Jay Crowder to be this efficient. Just because he's shown before in the playoffs, he's shown before time and time again that he hasn't been that guy. But, so far in the series, he's been shutting me up with the way that he's playing. So, it's really awesome to watch him kind of become reliable in that sense because the Phoenix Suns do need him. Again, Cameron Payne here, tremendously showing out in the playoffs. It's awesome to see. Good finish there by Devin Booker. Oof. And again, we're going to keep watching, guys. Going to watch for a little bit. This isn't going to be too long of a stream. I think it's probably going to be maybe 30 to 40 minutes just because, it's kind of a weekend stream. I want you guys to kind of relax, enjoy your weekend. And again, you kind of see here. I wish that the highlights would kind of show the plays. I might have to look for it in the way that they kind of gave Devin Booker off-ball movement going. Let me see if they have the Phoenix Suns playbook. Let me see here if Half Court Hoops has kind of done it. Let me shout out this guy, Nicholas Williams. Shout out to him. Hopefully they kind of show the plays here, but I kind of hope for more than just I don't think they're really showing the plays. I think, let's see here. 2020, 2021, early season playbooks. Obviously transition, they're kind of doing some pick and roll stuff. Second hour will be joining us late September. I promise you the WNBA isn't ready for us. That's awesome, man. Congrats. You're going to have another child. That's really awesome, man. WNBA, all right, man. when she becomes on the EBL or EBYL circuit, when I see her in the AAU, like just kind of reading about just players that are coming up, I hope to see your daughter, man. That's awesome. I mean, even if she's not a basketball player, that's still awesome that you're having a kid, man. Congrats. Definitely an amazing accomplishment. It's awesome. See if we kind of get there again. This is what they've been doing a little bit with Devin Booker, and this play has kind of stayed in the playbook. I think they kind of adjusted it a little bit. This is what kind of Steve Nash used to run LeVar Ball 2.0. I hope, hey, man, anything's possible. If you can speak into existence, I think you got it, man. But in terms of this double drag that they kind of run, this is very Phoenix Suns of the early 2000s-esque. What is up, my brother? What's up, Pete? How you doing, man? We're just kind of going over the Phoenix Suns playbook and kind of showing it. Shout out to Coach Telegaropoulos Costas. Monty Williams runs a tremendous offense. I just kind of wanted to show a little bit of the actions that they run out of it for Devin Booker and Chris Paul. So, like I talked about here, this is a similar action to what Steve Nash used to run with like Amari Stoudemire, Raja Bell, Sean Marion. You can kind of see it where it's kind of like a double with a flare. I mean, it's simple, right? It's a double. One guy pops. The second guy's going to roll to the basket. And again, it gets a lot of guys into trouble in that aspect. Kind of, again, another double. They run a lot of double screens. I mean, you kind of see here that Chris Paul, and this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. Can you explain Trevor's lack of coaching skills and misunderstanding of team lineup and chemistry? Man, I could talk about that for days. We can kind of talk about kind of what they run. Again, they really like to run this kind of double drag play. Another rescreen there with Ayton. You can see here that Chris Paul gets the guy behind his back. So now it's a 2-on-1 with him and Ayton, and then the defender that's going with Ayton. And then, Chris Paul can decide to get a jump shot off. Let's see here again. Screen there. Kind of a flared 45 cut. I mean, these are all kind of just simple plays that these teams run. You got the flare here, and then you get here, and then you see nothing there. Pick and roll, boom. Could have been a little bit of a pass, but hey, you know what? You get the ball there, you score. Screen away. And then you go to a nice little pick and roll. Again, Cameron Payne, like I talked about at the beginning, the Suns offense won't think it'd be the same as the Jazz. That's the thing, man. Both of these teams, they run tremendous offense. I think the Utah Jazz kind of run a different style. The Utah Jazz kind of run more of a traditional horn set action, where these guys, they kind of do run a little bit of a horn set, but now it's more of a double screen to get guys open. I mean, we can kind of look at the Utah Jazz playbook here and kind of see what they run. Their plays are a little bit different. You can kind of see here their playbook. It's kind of a zone quick hitter again. You see here, this is what I kind of want to run with my guys for high school. So I'm a little bit of an NBA head. I like this double screen, especially if they kind of run a zone. You have one guy screen for Mitchell, and then you have one guy screen here, which kind of creates like a nice little, if you guys kind of watch the Bible or anything like that, kind of Moses parting the Red Sea here. You can kind of see here that it gets the Mike Conley a nice little attack there off that. Again, nothing too crazy there. Kind of a similar pick and roll. Again, nothing too crazy. Get him on the back. And they just kind of lob it up to Derek Favors. This is slob. Again, down screen to get Ingles the ball. Boom. Again, some easy plays that people run. Again, this is kind of reject into a dribble handoff, reject that pick and roll, then go to a dribble handoff, and you kind of get a nice little open look here for Bogdanovich to go to the hole. Iverson cut. So now we're adding the infamous Iverson cut. Just kind of you reject it, and then it just kind of goes into that 3-point shot again. So again, Iverson cut that Bogdanovich is doing, and also you see there Mike Conley ran the Iverson cut right into a pick and roll, and then he kind of sneaks around in there, gets a floater. So you can kind of see the different variations. So now we got again two Iverson, kind of Iverson cut there, doesn't get it, rejects it, or doesn't pass to him, and then you kind of see there a little floater from a pick and roll. And then you got the Spanish pick and roll, where you got two guys, one guy kind of screening for Mitchell, another guy screening there, and then you see Ingles again shift up. Again, so for my guys that are kind of new to NBA concepts, and again, I'm even new to some of these concepts because some of these I've never even heard of before. So for a Spanish pick and roll, it's basically you're running basically two screens like kind of in the middle, sort of. So if I kind of draw, let me see if I can find a whiteboard app again. A whiteboard app. Let's see here, Microsoft Whiteboard. Kind of just draw on it really quick. Oops. Let me log out of here really quick. Let's see if I can just find a whiteboard app. Come on, let me do this. See if I can find just a whiteboard app. Scribble on my whiteboard. Can I start drawing? Okay, cool. So, again, Spanish pick and roll, pretty simple, right? Ball handler here. Again, basically just going to come to the screen here. So you're kind of coming here, and then again, you're getting another one. Almost kind of like almost a little bit similar to kind of like a little bit of a zigzag there. But you can kind of see here that Favors sets one, and then you see here that Joe Ingles sets one a little bit, and then he kind of pops to the top. Again, Royce O'Neal gets a nice shot at the top of there. Again, Spanish pick and roll, gonna set one there. So the key, basically what they want to do is that they want this guy that's guarding, RJ Barrett at this point is guarding him. What they want to do is to get either this guy that's right here, number 6. I don't think that's RJ Barrett. I don't know who that is. I do apologize to New York Knicks fans. But number 6 is going to, what they're expecting him to do is kind of come with him, so then it's a nice little pop to the top with Mitchell rolling there. But if you can get the switch, especially with a guy going full head of steam, that's a great offensive play. Again, a nice little double screen. A little bit too long for Mike Conley to get that going, but it is what it is. In the half, 77. Looks like it's a nice double. Nice open layup, and you can kind of see here the finish right there, right? Kawhi reaches, gets beat, and then tries to, again, poor communication I feel like from the teams there. But it is kind of fun to watch this. Get guys open, dunk. But again, kind of for my guys that aren't really kind of into the sort of play calls and all this other stuff, these offenses are so intricate and they're so unique in the way that they just have the perfect role players for these offenses, right? The Utah Jazz have tremendous role players. The Phoenix Suns have tremendous role players. Does Leonard does it have a good patio? I heard it's okay. I haven't heard anything too crazy about that patio. I heard you can do weddings out there, from what I heard. But you can kind of see here the intricacies of the plays and how awesome it is to see that these two teams are going to be, hopefully that these two teams are going to be kind of vying in the NBA Western Conference Finals. It would be fun to watch both these teams kind of duke it out and see what both these teams can do, man. Like, this is going to be an interesting scenario. You saw here tonight that the Clippers won. I think that's just due to the fact that Paul George had a tremendous game offensively. He 30 points in a game. wild to me that Paul George has scored that much. Paul George has really struggled offensively these last couple of playoff series, especially against Joe Ingles and the Utah Jazz. He's struggled tremendously against him. But you can see that when Paul George does score, it definitely does open up the floor for everybody else to get theirs. Zubac, Kawhi Leonard, makes it easier for him so he doesn't have to get 45 a game. But I still think at the end of the day, I'm going to bet on the Utah Jazz winning just because they still haven't played with Mike Conley. Donovan Mitchell was hurt for that last fourth quarter. I thought they could have made a run. It always felt like the Utah Jazz in that game were like within 10 points or like a little bit more than that. And they always try to get back in, but just never seem to work out. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited to watch this playoff series. I think it's going to be fun. The Utah Jazz have an intricate offense. And I don't think Tyronn Lue kind of adjusts to the game plan a lot. I think he was just hoping that Paul George would kind of hopefully have a great game, and he did. And you can kind of see the tremendous impact of having a guy like Paul George, kind of an elite talent, have that. And again, I would love to kind of watch the whole game and kind of give you breakdowns of these plays. Again, we'll go a little bit more into this. Again, you kind of see here like the intricacies of kind of going off a double, and then the guy that does get the double passes it back, and then that guy can kind of decide, okay, I'm either going to kind of snake around, see what I can do, or gets it out the way, and you can kind of see what offense you can get. And again, 77 pin double there, and it looks like again you saw here that they got Jordan Clarkson a nice little pin screen there to get him open for a nice jump shot. Whether that goes in or not, that's still a solid play. Again, same thing, off a double, pinned down for Niang, who honestly had a terrible game today. I just don't think he could hit the ocean tonight. It just kind of is what it is. Again, here you can kind of see the intricacies of these offenses as we continue. 72 looks like it's the same double. But now you're kind of setting a double down for the guy in the opposite corner. You saw here in this play, it's kind of a similar thing to 77, which you guys just saw. But now as soon as you go off the double, it's now a double screen for the guy that was in the corner. He kind of starts a little bit early. I would like my guy to wait a little bit. But NBA guys, they're so athletic. They so want to move. You can kind of see here. Then you get Bogdanovic in a situation where you can kind of go full head of steam. You can have Ingles spread to the corner, and then Favors kind of cut to the basket. And again, I don't think you should take too much out of tonight's game. I always thought the Clippers were going to win this. This is what I don't understand, and I talked about this a little bit earlier in the stream. I never understand when teams are up 2-0, especially if they're the home team, why teams are like, oh, they're dead. The Clippers, they can't win the game. They're not going to do it. Or like the Bucks. It's like they're going to win at least one or two games. Now, are they going to win the series? That's yet to be determined. But when it comes to guys like Giannis, when it comes to guys like Kawhi Leonard, they're just not going to go out easily. They're not going to go down laying down. They're actually going to go out there and ball out, and you saw that tonight. And so I hope you guys kind of understand that, even though a team may go 2-0, that's how the format works. It's 2-2, 1-1-1. Like, it is what it is at this point. Like, it's not you guys in general, but it's just NBA casual fans. They really have this innate feeling that it's like, I understand it's momentum. Like, obviously, the Utah Jazz have killed the Clippers these last two games at home, and the momentum carried them. But you can see why home court advantage is so important. But the way that the Jazz fans can get into Paul George's head and, vice versa. You can kind of see the impact in that situation. So, at the end of the day, I just think that it's going to be a fun, intricate playoff series between both those teams, but especially against the Clippers and the Jazz, as you can see here that they run some very intricate offense. I know that the score says that they're not up, but you definitely should be watching them for these offenses because it's actually a fun offense to watch. And again, we'll see what happens. Again, I do have the Phoenix Suns going to the Western Conference Finals, facing off against the Utah Jazz, and in that one, I want to go live for those games. Those games are going to be so fun to watch and kind of break down their offense to see what they do off their double screens. Both these teams run a similar double screen offense, and it'd be fun to kind of watch to see if they kind of borrow from each other, kind of take plays from one another and their counters to those plays. Like, are they going to have, what are they doing on the ball screens? Are they switching? Are they hedging? Or For the most part, I think everybody just switches in the NBA because everyone's at the similar size and athleticism, so you have to switch. But it would be cool to see if anybody kind of does like a jump switch, where they, or not even like a jump switch, but more so like an ice ball screen where the guy kind of rejected to go back into the screen. It'd be fun to watch to see if they do that. But again, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys make of this Phoenix Suns team and this Utah Jazz team? Do you guys think that these two teams will meet up in the NBA Western Conference Finals in the 2021 NBA playoffs? Or do you think that it'll be the Clippers that will prevail, or another one of these teams, the Nuggets? Do you think the Nuggets can come back from a 3-0 deficit? Let me know in the comment section down below. But last but not least, we have a pack unopening to kind of do here. So I'm just going to go to my profile really quick. And we're going to open up a pack, guys. We're going to open up a pack. We're going to see what I get in this pack. And see if anything special comes out of it. So let me just kind of shrink the screen a little bit. And see what we can get in this pack. Again, I'm excited to see what players I'll get out of here. Let's find out. Hopefully you guys are ready for this playoff pack. Here we go. Actually, I want to make sure that we're listening to it. Make sure we're not muted. Actually, let me get my headphones ready for this. I need to get my headphones ready. Hold up 1 second, everybody. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get this Bluetooth going. Doom, 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 doom. Let's see if we can listen to this. Okay. Okay, I can hear the music. Now the question becomes, can I hear it? Okay, cool. So now let's see if we can hear it. Alright, here we go, boys. And ladies, if you're joining us, 3 cards. Let's see here. Tobias Harris layup in the playoffs. I think that's my second Tobias Harris, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go here. I got a Bobo dunk. Alright, let's see this one. Come on, be a good one. It's a Rudy. Oh, Donovan Mitchell block. Okay. Nothing too crazy. I think the Tobias Harris one is kind of the best one. Let's see what this sale counts for. So price helper. So mine was 2,000, right? So, all right, not too bad. About like $40. Not bad. I mean, it paid for the pack itself, so I can't complain too much. But that's awesome. You know, it's kind of a cool card to have. I'll kind of show my collection really quick so you guys can kind of see the cards that I do have in here. Newest ones, we got Donovan Mitchell, we got a Bobo, we got a Giannis, we got a Daniel Theis, we got Trae Young, Jeremy Lamb, Pascal Siakam, Karis LeVert. Also, shout out to, I feel sorry for Pascal. He's got a torn labrum, so he's got to be out for 4 months, so that does suck. But we got Karis LeVert, Campazzo, Neto, Josh Jackson, Jared Vanderbilt, Gordon Hayward, Jeremy Grant. We got Chris Paul Cool Cats. This is probably one of my favorite ones to get as well. You can kind of see here, just a nice assist to the pasta merchant himself, Frank Kaminsky. If there's one pasta merchant in the NBA, I believe it's Frank Kaminsky. And again, you got Gordon Hayward, Michael Carter-Williams, Jimmy Butler. I also got an Isaiah Stewart. I think is my lowest. I think it's my lowest serial number, if I'm not mistaken. I believe so. Yeah. So it's him, then Chris Paul. Then we got a playoff one, which kind of sucks. The playoff one, I don't get more playoff cards. I only get one, which is a Tobias Harris layup. It wasn't a bad layup. Obviously, it's against the Wizards. I would love one that was kind of recent, but it is what it is. And that's kind of it, man. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this pack on opening and also talking about the Phoenix Suns, Utah Jazz. I kind of have a session for those teams that are kind of like well-coached, players that play their role, know their role. And, with Chris Paul, it's always a fun time to watch. So we'll see what happens with his series. We'll see what happens with the Utah Jazz. Can the Clippers come back? Can the Nuggets come back? But I think for the most part, it's going to be those two teams. So we'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section down below. Who do you guys think will be in the Western Conference Finals? But with that being said, hopefully you guys are enjoying your Saturday night. Hopefully you guys are doing it safe, responsibly, whatever it is that you're doing. Make sure you do it that way for the most part. So anyway, guys, like I said, my name is Bernie. Thank you once again for joining me here on The Charge. Again, please remember to hit that like button. Also remember to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Also remember, guys, we do have a merch section in the store. I will put it in the live chat really quick so you guys can get access to it. If you guys do want to, like I said, it's not mandatory, but if you guys would like to donate, let me know. Let me kind of open here. If you guys would like to donate. Oh, yeah, pray for Erickson. Shout out to Christian Erickson if you guys watched the game this morning. It was a very crazy, scary injury, cardiac arrest and everything like that. It was crazy to watch what happened in that situation. So I'm glad that he was able to recover from that. He said he was good. So, great news to hear from Christian Erickson. If you guys are fans of the Euros, if you're watching the Euros 2021, definitely great soccer matches if you're watching it. But anyway, guys, like I said, I left the link of my merch. If you guys do want to buy some merch, represent the charge, if that's what you guys want to do. There's also a donate button as well if you guys want to donate any type of money to the charge as well. Again, not mandatory, but if you guys want to, it would be greatly appreciated. And again, let me know what else I can do for you guys here on The Charge. I'd love to talk more basketball, kind of get more as the playoffs kind of ramp up. We'll also talk about the NBA draft. We'll talk about many players. I know my Gonzaga guys are asking about Kispert. They felt like Kispert is getting a little bit disrespected in the mock drafts, also disrespected in the media around the world in terms of his what he can provide for the team. But anyway, guys, like I said, my name is Bernie. Thank you once again for joining me here on The Charge, giving you the technical analysis, basketball news and rumors, and also my opinion of how things are going. Again, appreciate to each and every one of you for joining me here on The Charge. It was a blast to record tonight. I know it wasn't a long record session like I usually do, but it is greatly appreciated to see that you guys are, enthused about coming to the channel, watching my content, and really getting this stuff going. Again, I would love to kind of get your guys' feedback and opinion on how to make the channel better, what I could do to provide more content. I know this is kind of the basic level of stuff for streaming, but once I get the hang of it, once I get a little bit more of graphics down, once I could do a little bit more whiteboard talk or whiteboard situation where I can kind of have a whiteboard pen I can draw to show you guys on here, I'll definitely do that so you guys can kind of see it a lot easier for me to draw instead of using my mouse to kind of draw things. But anyway, guys, like I said, my name is Bernie. Thank you once again for tuning in.